welcome back to day 3 of METALCON in Las Vegas. My name is Heidi Ellsworth, and we are on the Metal Coffee Shop live sound stage, sponsored by New Tech Machinery. What a show. I have to tell you, it has been amazing, and we are making new friends every step of the way. And in fact, we are so thrilled to introduce and bring DripStop onto the soundstage and onto Metal Coffee Shop. So, gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Heidi.
We've talked before, and I'm just so happy that we were able to bring you on and bring you a part of this. And so let's start out with some introductions.
Sure.
So Orion, can you start out, introduce yourself,
yes.
what you do, and a little bit about your company?
Yes, my name is Orion Ewell, and I'm actually the Western U.S. business manager with DripStop. And yeah, I'm in charge of all of our existing customers and growing the market everywhere across past the Rockies, basically.
That's great. And Chris, thank you for being here. Introduce yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Chris Davis. I'm the business segment manager for North America for all of the anti-condensation products.
That's awesome. And Chris, can you tell us a little bit about the history of DripStop? I've been finding it very interesting.
Yeah, history-wise, we started DripStop back in 1995, and we have grown to the point where it's virtually in every continent except Antarctica. I don't see it coming to Antarctica anytime soon.
Wow.
But every climate condition, every place in the world, as Orion likes to say, we're 550 million square feet a year.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's pretty much all over the world.
Tried and tested product. It's not new. It's been on the global market for years. So.
It started in Europe. I brought it to the States in end of 2004, beginning in 2005. So It's been here for quite some time.
That's excellent. So let's talk a little bit about it, because I was able to spend, and we have some video, I've spent a little bit of time over in your booth. I think it's fascinating. It's sometimes the simplest solutions, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just like,
exactly.
And so, Orion, why don't you tell us just a little bit about the DripStop and how it works?
Yeah, so DripStop, it's a condensation control membrane. Kind of feels like this fuzzy material on the metal, but it absorbs moisture in non-climate controlled buildings. So any kind of building where you're not heating or cooling it, you don't want the contents to get rained on the inside.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't probably see this very well, but it's basically like a fleece.
Fuzzy steel
on the inside, and this happens during the roll forming process. It's applied, and it is for any non-conditioned building. This is a lifesaver from drippage and condensation. So, Chris, explain how it works.
Yeah. So to know how it works, you have to know a little bit about how condensation works. So I always say there's a couple of things about condensation you have to know how we try and fight it with any product, right? One of them makes sense to me, the other one doesn't. But if you Google it, you'll find out it's true. So warm air holds more moisture than cold air. I think we all know it can be more humid on a warm day, right?
Yes.
But wet air, well, this is an oversimplification, but basically wet air is actually lighter than dry air. So that doesn't make sense to me. I think like a wet, heavy day. Yeah. But it has to do with air is nitrogen and oxygen, water is hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen is lighter than nitrogen, which is why clouds are up, right?
Right.
So
when you said that before, that made sense to me. Yeah. Cloud.
So we think about a standard metal building, right? Nighttime comes, it gets cold. The skin of the building gets cold as it gets colder outside. Warmer, wetter air in the building is lighter than the dry air. It rises up and hits a cold metal roof. Yeah. Just like a glass of ice water on a hot day, when that warm, wet air hits the cold surface, it cools down. Right. Remember the first rule we said, cold air doesn't hold as much moisture as warm air. Right? So water literally falls out of the air as condensation droplets until you go back below the dew point. Your dew point is basically just the maximum amount of moisture air can hold at any given temperature. Right. So the bigger the temperature difference, the smaller the humidity level it can handle before it starts to drip. Yeah, okay. And vice versa. So the livestock confinement, tons of humidity. Right. So very little temperature difference before it starts to drip, right? Yeah. So traditionally, we put up insulation to try and keep that temperature difference down, so it can handle more humidity before it starts to drip. And the vapor barrier is just there to keep the moisture from going up through the insulation, hitting the cold metal roof, and dripping down anyway, right? Yeah. DripStop's a giant sponge. So when that warm, wet air rises up and hits the cold metal roof, it actually captures the water as it's falling out of suspension in the air and traps it in the air pockets between the fibers and holds it there until the sun comes back out and it burns it back off into normal humidity.
And goes out through ventilation?
Yeah, it vents out through the top of the roof, but almost like a breathing process, absorb and release, or the cycle of the weather in the night and the day.
It made so much sense to be able to, because I always think of ventilation within the roofing system and bringing the cooler in, and now I'm like, oh.
Ventilation is needed, but sometimes it's not enough.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you need
Yeah.
these.
And so this can hold it until the ventilation can work its way through and get it out, or the temperature differentiations,
Right.
whatever needs to happen.
Exactly.
It holds about a quart of water per 10 square feet, so that's
Wow.
a ton of moisture. So generally speaking, we say if you got DripStop and it's dripping, you don't have a condensation issue, you got a ventilation issue.
Yeah, yeah.
So one of the big advantages is it cuts one step of the construction process out.
Yeah,
Right.
So-
the builders, they're actually the biggest winner. They save time and money because with insulation, they have to purchase the insulation and there's labor costs for installing it.
Yeah.
That's the best part about DripStop. It arrives on the site pre-installed. There is no, it's taken, like Chris said, it's taken that whole annoying step out of the construction process for the builders. They can't really see the purlins where they're stepping. Most of the time, if they're going to fall, it's during that insulation step.
Right, right.
And this is way safer for them. And it actually saves them about half the time on the roof. That gives them more time to do other jobs, and that's more money for them too.
Right.
So,
And it's
yeah.
also going to save money for the building owner.
Yeah,
Right? Because
exactly.
this is a great solution
Yeah.
to a problem where they may not need all that insulation.
Absolutely.
Right? And so then they are able to use the DripStop. I love it. Now, okay, as contractors out there who are watching this, both metal building contractors, but I'm looking at this thinking roofing contractors, and this is something they should know about, obviously. How do they get their hands on this? How does that work?
Basically, we supply this to the roll formers, the people
Okay.
who corrugate the steel into metal roofing panels. They apply it during their production, and it actually goes on as the coil's still flat. That's how it gets into every nook and cranny of
Okay.
the panel, and it comes off the end of their production line already on, ready to go. So they would just ask for it at their whoever they're buying their metal roofing from.
And you work with a majority of the roll formers and
A lot of the major and
manufacturers.
small metal roofing companies across the country. So
So if you own a sheet metal shop, first of all, you want to get with these gentlemen and get this into your process and be able to offer it, because what a great differentiator for your business to say, look, we have a solution for you for non-conditioned buildings. And if you're a contractor buying from sheet metal shops or from some of the major metal manufacturers, you just need to ask for it. And do you just say, DripStop me? Is that what you do?
there you go.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, DripStop me. Okay.
It's actually one of the cheapest, easiest things to get started in metal construction.
Yeah.
There's probably not much as a roll former you can get into that's easier than that.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to spread the word about this. I
Thank you
think
very
this is
much.
very cool, and there's a lot of contractors and roofing contractors out there who will find a lot of uses for this going forward. Gentlemen, thank you, and I just want to say welcome to Metal Coffee Shop.
Thank you very
you so
much.
much.
It's very nice to be here. And thanks
we
for having us.
love having you. We'll be seeing you again at the National Frame Builders
Yes.
show. And so if you have any questions, check out the DripStop directory on Roofers Coffee Shop. You can find, or on Metal Coffee Shop and Roofers Coffee Shop, and you can get more information and contact information there. So we'll be seeing you both soon.
Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Thank you, and we'll be
Thank
seeing
you.
you soon. We have recaps coming up. We also have the big People's Choice Award coming. I hope you all voted for Metal Coffee Shop. That'll be coming at 12:30. We'll be going live, talking about what's happening and if we won. We'll see you then.